Please take your seats. Our program will begin shortly. We kindly ask that you silence your mobile devices to minimize any disruptions.
Welcome to the Project Management Institute 2025 Annual Membership Meeting. Please welcome to the stage Chair of the PMI Board of Directors, Ike Nwankwo.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ike Nwankwo. This year, I have the pleasure of serving as the chair of the PMI Board of Directors. Whether you're joining us here in person in Phoenix or tuning in virtually, we are thrilled to have you with us today. Please note, though, that this meeting is intended only for active PMI members. Now, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to PMI's annual membership meeting. Each year, this meeting is an important time for us to reflect on our achievements, to celebrate our successes, and provide insights on what's top of mind for you. As we look back on the past couple of years, I am incredibly proud and thankful for the tremendous achievements and progress we have made in growing our community and advancing the project management profession. Around the world, you have shown extraordinary dedication, passion, and leadership in living our purpose, embracing our cultural values, and advancing our PMI Next strategy. You have supported the new definition of project success and the more call to action. For all of this, I want to say thank you. We are living in a dynamic, fast-changing world, and the demand for project professionals has never been stronger. We, however, believe that we are well-positioned to not only meet the demand, but also to be at the forefront of the transformation and in shaping our future. Looking ahead to this future, feedback from our community is critical. It is critical to our ongoing success. This is why we continue to implement new initiatives to strengthen communications with our members. Those of you who receive the monthly member e-newsletter would have seen the new board perspectives column. It is a platform that the board intends to use as an additional way of keeping you informed throughout the year, and where you can ask questions and submit topics that are top of the mind for you. In preparation for this year's annual membership meeting, we asked for your thoughts and questions, and today we will have a panel discussion where we'll address the key topics that you have raised. We thank you for your input and questions, as these will help us address what matters most to you as we continue to grow, develop learnings, thought leadership, resources, and other tools that help us serve you better and enhances the value you receive as a PMI member. We continue to look to provide value to members, advocate for the profession, and support project professionals in this challenging global economy. Now, to the 2024 annual membership meeting, the minutes of that. The minutes from the 2024 annual membership meeting are posted on pmi.org. So noting this, can I have a member who is present here in this room to move to approve the 2024 minutes? Oh, wonderful. Can I have a second? I didn't see. Somebody's running around and will confirm your names. Thank you very much. Will all in-person attendees who are active PMI members please take a moment to cast their votes to approve the 2024 annual membership meeting minutes? If you approve, kindly raise your hand now. Thank you. Any opposed? Thank you so much for voting. The minutes are hereby approved. The next item is on our board reporting committees. I want to express sincere appreciation to all our volunteers for generously giving their time and expertise. I'd also like to thank our board reporting committees for the work they do on behalf of the board and the role in supporting the PMI board and the entire PMI organization. These committees are the Board Volunteer Advisory Committee, the Ethics Review Committee, the PMI Global Accreditation Center for Project Management Education Programs, and the Nominating Committee. Thank you. Next, we have our 2026 Board of Directors Chair and Committee Chairs announcements. Please join me in welcoming the following individuals elected to serve on the Board of Directors through 2026 to 2028. Danny Chung and Stacy Dillon Nichols. Stacy? Unfortunately, Danny cannot be with us today. The following board members were also elected to serve a second term, continuing their service through to 2028. Diane Elsing and Tom Bloomers. Unfortunately, Tom Bloomers couldn't be with us today. And following the resignation of a director, Lynn Shannon has been appointed to fill a one-year vacancy on the board through to the end of 2026. On the board chair and committee chairs, I, Ike Nwankwo, was re-elected to serve as the board chair in 2026. I'm also happy to announce the following directors were elected to serve as committee chairs. For the Audit and Risk Committee chair, we have Mario Trintim. Compensation and Talent Committee chair, Diane Elsing. Governance Committee chair, Teresa Knudsen. Strategy Oversight Committee chair, Lisa Monsa. Congratulations and thank you all for your leadership and service. Now, before I turn things over to our President and CEO, I would like to show a video that celebrates our accomplishments and shows how each of us can continue to light the way for our profession.
At PMI, we've always believed in the power of progress and building the future together. The progress we've made lately is extraordinary. We're transforming our organization and our profession. Guided by our PMI Next strategy and our cultural values, we're breaking records. The numbers show PMI is stronger than ever. Our research on project success challenges us to deliver more value to everyone involved and to lead with confidence. We're not just managing projects, we're lighting the way. We're leading the AI transformation of project management, empowering you with cutting-edge tools and knowledge. We strengthened our gold standard certifications, ensuring you have the specialized skills needed to deliver project success now and in the future. And now that Cognilytica, Green Project Management, Agile Alliance, PMOGA, and Project Managers Without Borders are part of the PMI family, we're expanding our vision for what this profession can be. Our new membership model is already uniting chapter communities across the globe, delivering more value, more resources, and more impact for all our members. Together, we've built a powerful, future-focused, energized PMI. Together, we achieve more. More learning, more growth, more connection, more impact. Because when we elevate our members, we elevate our profession. And when we elevate our profession, we elevate our world.
And now, to provide an update on PMI's progress and a look ahead, please join me in welcoming our President and CEO, Pierre. Manh.
It makes it very weird, right? So we're not used to that. Maybe we should sing, you know. All right, thank you, Ike. Thank you, Ike, for the kind words, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad you could join us here in Phoenix. For those of you who are in attendance, it's nice to enjoy a bit of summer weather as we head into the winter months, at least in some of our countries. And a special welcome as well to everyone joining us virtually. So let me begin by expressing my gratitude to our entire PMI community. As you'll hear over the next few minutes, PMI is bigger and more impactful than ever. Our membership is strong and growing. Our product portfolio has expanded, and we continue to drive the transformation of our profession. None of that would be possible without you, our members. I deeply appreciate your energy, your insight, your time, your creativity. Every year you invest in developing our profession. You are the reason PMI remains the leading authority on project management for more than 50 years, and the reason why we are becoming the leading authority on project success. So thank you, all of you. I also want to thank our PMI team, if you could maybe give them a round of applause, for organizing this annual membership meeting. It takes a great deal of work for many talented people. And I want to recognize Ike, our chair of the board, and the entire board of directors. Many of them are here. First row, of course. They're always the first ones, the best ones. I truly value your partnership, your governance, and your guidance. 2025 has not been an easy year, for sure, but we've made major progress together, and I'm looking forward to even more of that in 2026. Now, finally, on a personal note, thank you, really thank you to all of our members for your support, for your messages, for your kind words, while I was slowly, and I'm still, recovering from my illness these past months. As anyone who's gone through that experience knows, some days are a bit hard, but your encouragement has made a very big difference. So thank you so much. Thank you. Now, let's get to business, you know me, and talk about what we've accomplished in, well, the last year since our last annual membership meeting. PMI has reached really new heights across all major metrics that you can see on the slide. We have more volunteers than ever, more than 18,000 volunteers now, and the number keeps growing. Our membership has also grown to more than 755,000 actually at this point, including a record 50,000 student members. Our Global Executive Council, which brings together senior professionals from some of the world's largest and most respected companies, keeps expanding. I often refer to it as PMI's think tank. And we now have more than 1.8 million active certification holders worldwide. Our financial discipline remains excellent. We have completed, as we've seen, several acquisitions. We've expanded our product portfolio. We've strengthened our regional presence. We've invested in technology. And all of that without affecting the robustness of our balance sheet or hampering any of our ability to invest more in the future. All this is made possible because we are increasing our productivity by having a clear strategy, a clear vision, but also a more efficient organization. So for example, our headcount is about the same as when I joined PMI 3 years ago, yet our revenue has grown by almost 30%. So thank you. That shows how much more efficiently we operate. And We will keep funding new growth and impact initiatives with the support of our board of directors. That said, like any organization, we are not immune to the external environment. Our two largest markets, the United States and China, which together represent about 2/3 of our revenue, are both facing challenges. The US is dealing with a lot of uncertainty that is related to the trade war, which affects investment and economic growth. We're also feeling the impact of the government spending cuts and shutdowns. The government has just reopened, but we're seeing the impact here, where hundreds of federal agency employees had to cancel their participation and reopen a little bit too late. In China, the economic slowdown is quite significant. The astronomical levels of public debt, especially when you include the local governments, are limiting new infrastructure projects. And at the same time, the transformations in the job market with much lower job security and the high unemployment rate among young professionals do put pressure on our activities. But despite these headwinds, I remain very optimistic. First of all, we keep growing at a steady pace outside of China. In 2025, we forecast our growth at around 6% outside of China, and if you also remove the US, we're going to grow by more than double-digit outside the US and China this year in 2025. And second, we've launched with, again, the support of our board of directors, significant new initiatives to strengthen our position in high-potential areas. So they include, for example, evolving our corporate offerings to bring more value to organizations, to employers. It also includes allocating additional investment funding in China. We have our new regional managing director here, Miranda, who's just joined us from Beijing, who's going to implement a series of ideas that we have to expand our range of activities and better support our community there in China. Now, in times of volatility and uncertainty, it is really essential that we stay focused on our purpose and that we live by our values. And I would even add by our code of ethics. This is what makes PMI more agile and more resilient. Even when we must pivot because of technological disruption or external factors beyond our control, we, and when I say we, I mean all of us, our employees, our volunteers, everyone who supports us, we still know what our ultimate goal is, and we can navigate in the right direction. Now, another fundamental part of PMI Next is where we play. Right, this is the heart of our strategy. It defines where PMI can hold a unique position, where we can be the best, where we want to be the best, and where we can bring the greatest value to the organization and to the people that we serve. These are three areas where we have been, and we will keep investing: community knowledge and resources, lifelong learning and development, and trusted gold standard certifications. Every initiative we launch, from acquisitions to innovation programs, strengthens one or more of these pillars. For example, to strengthen our community-generated platforms and resources, we are rolling out our single membership initiative, which combines chapter and PMI membership into a unified model. Last year, we launched it in India. In 2024, this was phase 1. This year, in 2025, we introduced the new membership model with 70 additional chapters in 39 countries. That was phase 2. In February 2026, we will expand it to 60 more countries. That will be phase 3. And then in 2027, we will transition the United States along with the few remaining countries outside the US that are not ready for transition in 2026, such as Japan. Our vision here is to create a global pass that gives members an easy access to everything PMI and its chapters offers worldwide. It strengthens our community knowledge and resources by making them more accessible, and broader. It is something that no other organization in our profession can even come close to matching. And we can also imagine new services based on this new membership model. For example, think of how we could create a global mentoring platform that would reinforce the lifelong learning and development pillar of our strategy, but we can also think of many other ideas. But first, we have to implement the global path, right? Because if we go after everything at the same time, as we all know as project professionals, we don't get anything done. Now, last year at Global Summit in Los Angeles, we released our project success research. It reframed project success beyond time, cost, and scope. It established that in the end, a successful project is an investment where the value that is created exceeds the effort and expense as seen by all stakeholders. This work inspired a broader vision for our profession and a new call to action for project professionals to do more, MORE. And this morning, during the Global Summit opening session, we unveiled key insights from the second wave of our large project success research. They highlight how critical the elements of MORE are to project success and value creation. Now, much more, without the pun, will be shared when we release the full report in December. I hope it will be a defining moment for our profession that will spark real discussion and, more importantly, maybe a sense of urgency that drives action. That's what we mean by step up, which will be a big theme for PMI in 2026. Now, based on the findings of our research, we're building a full ecosystem of content, resources, and thought leadership to help project professionals take the first steps. Beyond the impact of MORE on project success, we really believe this vision is critical at a time when many, many tasks are being automated by AI. This is actually true for almost every job in the knowledge economy, but it is very true for project management as well. It's going to be spectacular in the next 10 years. And that is another reason why we believe it is so important for our profession to evolve. Now, of course, we still have a lot of work to do to convince the C-suite and other stakeholders, but it starts with us. It won't happen unless we make it happen ourselves. Now, one way we have structured our content development to support MORE, and in particular, the E for expand perspective, is by defining 8 content and innovation platforms: AI, sustainability, agile, giga projects, PMO, XMOs, product management, change management, and social impact. Now, let me highlight just a few recent achievements with these content and innovation platforms. Regarding PMI by AI, which is our broad initiative and investment in AI, as I shared this morning, CPM AI is our fastest growing certification with a record month actually in October, when we had more than 1,000 enrollments. Our PMI Infinity AI Assistant has been used by 200,000 unique users since we launched it. And so far, almost 1 million people have registered for our 5 AI e-learning courses. And by the way, today, we are releasing a new course on AI titled The Impact of AI on Agile Ways of Working. It's a very interesting topic, and I hope you will enjoy taking the course. Speaking of Agile, in January, as you know, we welcomed the Agile Alliance into the PMI family. It's not technically an acquisition because they're a nonprofit, but it's a similar type of integration. And it addressed the long-standing perception that PMI had not fully embraced Agile, hopefully once and for all now. But it also allows us to engage with the C-suite on topics that matter to them, such as how to make their organizations, their companies more agile while staying focused on strategy, and how to combine scalability with speed. Now, on the sustainability front, in April, we formed this joint venture with Green Project Management. We transferred all their standards, guides, and certifications related to project management to an entity that is controlled and managed by PMI, with the continued support of GPM, which still owns 30% of that joint venture. So we have evolved the GPM certification toward our gold standard, and our goal is to give sustainability a much larger resonance in line with our purpose, the second part of our purpose, to elevate our world, and because our research shows that sustainability has a strong positive impact on project success. Regarding social impact, our integration of project managers without borders is progressing very well. We currently have more than 30 projects underway or in development. All of them are offering volunteer opportunities to support NGOs through effective project management. Still on social impact, I would like to mention our PMI Educational Foundation that continues to grow, just celebrated 35 years of empowering youth with project management skills. And finally, the integration of PMOGA has been a great success. We're very happy with the progress we're making. PMOs are a very important sub-community for us, and it's great to see this community flourish within our PMI organization. We believe they will play a critical role in the transformation of our profession that I was referring to. So I believe we're overall in a great place with strong momentum. Next year, we will continue transforming your institute at a steady pace, building on what works, correcting course when things don't go as expected, and focusing both on PMI as an organization and on helping the profession be recognized and valued, driving project success. Once again, I want to thank you for your trust, for renewing your membership, some of you for many years, and I hope for many more to come. PMI is the home of project professionals. It is your home, and it will always stand by you. Thank you very much. And now, I'll turn it back to Ike. No music, so you're going to clap.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we will transition to our panel discussion, where, as I mentioned earlier, we'll answer some of the questions submitted by our community, yourselves. So to join me in this discussion, I'm pleased to welcome our Chief Community Officer, Brantlee Underhill.
Sorry.
So let's get things kicked off with a question, first of all, for you, Brantlee.
Let's do it.
So the community has asked a question, and it is, over the past year, PMI has emphasized the importance of membership value and experiences. What are some of the ways that PMI is increasing the value of membership to drive overall retention?
Cool, thanks, Ike, and thank you everyone for being here. So you saw our strategy map of PMI Next, and you saw a box on there that talks about unique and enhanced membership value. Pierre talked about our new membership model. We've seen total chapter membership has grown from 322,000 to 390,000 globally. So happy to see that number continue to increase. Our goal is to get it to 100% at the close of this project. While we collectively focus on increasing satisfaction and loyalty, we've also been strengthening our community-generated knowledge and content, as well as connection through the expansion of our events program. So you see that we begin our events cycle with Global Summit, where you are here today, and then we continue with Global Summit series into our regions, and you heard about those locations announced this morning. So the establishment of our content and innovation platforms, which we just saw on the screen, are designed to support the well-rounded knowledge and the knowledge that you as project professionals need to lead and manage in this ever-changing environment. We're building out those ecosystems around learning and products and, of course, community. So there's plenty of opportunities to get involved with the development and the growth of these 8 areas. Of course, many products have been developed in the last couple of years to support career-long learning and development that are part of your member benefits. So please take advantage of them. And we talked about the 5 AI courses, including the newest one with agility today.
6 total, I think.
6 total today, okay. So PMI Infinity, the growing e-learning catalog, and of course, opportunities to contribute, whether that's through product development, content leadership, speaking opportunities, and sustaining and growing our local chapters. So be sure to leverage and check out the volunteer engagement platform, the VEP, where we post all of our volunteer opportunities. So of course, all these new offerings and upgrades help contribute to the evolving value that supports you and retaining your PMI membership.
Okay, thank you, Brantlee. Pierre, you talked about it briefly, but the next question here is really about annual revenue. So can you please share some more details about that and how that revenue has been utilized in the recent years?
Yeah, per accounting rules, our total revenue is it's close to $400 million. This year, we don't know yet. The year is not over, but it's going to be about 335 to 340 million of that 400 million will come from operations before financial interest in our investments. Like I mentioned before, we have double-digit growth outside of the US and China. So steady growth, same pace as we've known like over the last 2-3 years. We have in the US still growth, modest single-digit growth in the US, in spite of the government spending cuts and the general economic slowdown that we're experiencing. Now in China was exceptional in 2023 because in 2022, most of the country was shut down locked down for a long period of time. And in China, it just turns out that we have no membership in China. We're not allowed by the government to have membership. And our government partners in China are very, very focused on the PMP. So most of what we're doing in China are translations of PMBOK, of guides, of content that we have, and a lot of things around PMP and organizing the PMP. The PMP exams in China are all in person. There's no online authorized there by the government. So definitely, as we had a lot of lockdowns in 2022, so the demand was ramping up, and then in 2023, we had a massive year. We saw a decline in 2024, as expected, more decline than we hoped for in 2025. Again, the Chinese economy is what it is, but I also believe that it's time for us to try and transform a little bit our model in China and expand beyond doing mostly PMP, and try to implement a lot of the other products and all the things we've been discussing, the content and innovation platforms, MORE. We have an incredibly strong community there. We have, I don't know how many, but more than 500,000 active PMP holders. We have relationship with all the largest organizations in China. So we have an incredible potential if we can expand a little bit what we're doing there. And the team, the new leadership team that we have, I hope will really drive this new era for our Chinese business. Now, if we exclude China from the whole picture, we're still doing pretty well, right? So the revenue keeps growing. You said, what do you do with the revenue? First of all, revenue is different than gross margin, right? We do have costs associated with sales. Like for instance, when we organize exams, there are costs that come with that. So it's not exactly that $1 of revenue translates into $1 of gross margin. Now, once we've said that, we do have a sort of directional principle at PMI, which is actually part of PMI Next, if you read in detail the how we operate section, called the 70-20-10, which is to invest or spend about 70% of our resources in strengthening our core. So that's investments in our gold standard professional certifications, our events, making them better, increasing our efficiency, strengthening our regions, all the things we're doing as part of our core. 20% directed to innovation that is new to what we're doing, but we think has a great chance to work, like new e-learning, the Global Pass. It could fail for sure, but we feel pretty confident that the services we will develop around that will actually work. MORE, the content and innovation platforms, all those are things that are new, but reasonably understandable, and we feel we have a good chance to make them work. And then 10% invested in moonshots. PMI Infinity was a moonshot. It's an example of a moonshot. You don't know if actually when we started that, we did not even know if we would have the technical ability, knowledge to even make it work. It did work, and it's still a moonshot in a way. So we're adding new things. We're not fully sure where AI is going, but like Sam Altman himself is saying, it's very hard to predict the future, so we think, we're taking a bet on that future. We're not exactly spending 70, 20, 10. Like most companies I know are more in the range of 98, 2, We're doing better than that, but it's not fully 70, 20, 10. We're still, like many companies, spending a bit more of our resources on what we know well, right? The core of our business or low-risk innovation. Anyway, if you're really interested in our financials, please read our annual report. Every year, we publish an annual report, just like if we were a listed company. It's available on our website. You can even go back many years. A few passionate members actually do that and then ask me questions about page 35, 6th paragraph, but trust me, I have read it before, so I know how to answer that.
Oh, thank you, Pierre.
I'm kidding, of course.
Yeah, do read it. It's a good read. So thank you, Pierre, for that. So let me turn to you, Brantlee. An interesting question here. So how can we address corruption, politics, and ethical behavior in chapters?
Such a great question. I mean, maintaining the highest ethical standards is essential across our global community, but especially in our chapters because they are the most visible representation of PMI live in the local markets where PMI operates. So for chapter leaders, our chapter team, our employees, we have culture and diversity ambassadors. They all play a very key role in modeling the integrity and fostering ethical behavior that we want to see. PMI provides a lot of resources to support ethical decision-making. It starts with the Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct, the Ethical Decision-Making Framework, and guidance and tools that we have available on the PMI website. Just by the way, the Code of Ethics was recently updated. It's been modernized for today's business practices. It takes into account our changing environment, so please go check it out. Our culture and diversity champions, our chapter development teams, they all work very proactively with our local communities to promote a healthy environment and to strengthen the collaboration and belonging and help prevent any conflict and misalignment. But when concerns or disputes do arise, we use a process called the chapter conflict management process, and that really helps all the parties understand the nature of the issue and determine what the next steps can be. It helps distinguish whether a situation is relationship-oriented or if there's a collaboration challenge that could be resolved through conflict support, or if there's a complaint with a more formal governance, operational, or real ethical issue, then it gets escalated to the PMI Ethics Review Committee. And they have the authority to address those matters. So normally at the chapter level, we can use the conflict mediation process or the ethics complaint process. And if anyone is unsure how to actually classify or resolve an issue, please utilize the email on PMI's website. That will put you in touch with the Ethics Insight team, and they'll be able to decipher for you whether which process it should follow. So we want to continue to encourage our community to consult the conflict management process to ensure clarity before escalating a concern. But if you're unsure, use the email on the website and you can ask in a confidential manner.
Oh, thanks, Brantlee. Next question is for you, Pierre, and I go straight to it. Given the global demand for project talent by 2030, what commitments will PMI make to expand students and early career pathways, such as partnering with employers and universities? But there's a second twist to the question as well. And how can we tie member participation to measurable social and environmental impact that chapters can report and celebrate on?
Yeah, it's, I think, in fact, two different questions in the question to an extent. But if we talk about students, we have various initiatives around students, academic institutions, early career pathways. So it's a multi-pronged approach that we have. First of all, you probably are aware of our Global Accreditation Center, so I want to, by the way, praise the volunteers and the teams working on our Global Accreditation Center. It basically provides accreditation, official accreditation to academic institutions, actually to programs of academic institutions that are of course related to project management. It keeps growing. I think we have about 200 now, or we're going to have 200 by the end of the year, programs that are accredited. I think when I joined it was like 140, so in 3 years it's a pretty significant increase. And a lot of them are outside of North America now, so we're really trying to, as much as possible, be more global in our thinking when it comes to accreditation. This accreditation is a very US system in a way, but it has a lot of traction outside of the US as well, because we are, in the end, the most recognized authority that can provide a credible accreditation for any program in project management. We are developing very fast what we call the student clubs with the chapters. It's basically making sure that students can find ways through the chapters to meet with people who are in the workforce. Part of their goal is to find jobs, of course, and maybe part of the goal of the companies that are involved in this is also to find people to recruit. But it's also a very good way, I think, for our institute to help these young professionals or future young professionals understand and create some links and bonds with people who are actually in the workforce. So I don't have the numbers in mind, maybe you know that.
We'll be at 50 student clubs by the end of this year.
Right, that's remarkable because we had like a handful like 2 years ago,
Totally,
right? So it's growing very fast, and our chapters have been extremely active with this, and thank you very much if you're a volunteer in our chapters, because it's really very valuable. And then we have this early professional stage, right? So we have, in terms of learning and certifications, we have CAPM, which many of the members who joined PMI more than 10 years ago skipped that stage and got their PMP directly, but some people like Brantlee and me had our CAPM before we got our PMPs. And it's also growing very fast, especially in the US, but it's also growing now in other regions of the world. And we're talking about China. That's a country where potentially we have a lot of potential with CAPM. It's going to grow by about 25% this year. And last year it grew by, I think, 20 or 21%. So it's very steady and actually even accelerating growth for CAPM, which shows the demand and the excitement around that. And then we have a lot of other initiatives. You know, I just heard about this wonderful deal or agreement with New York City Public Schools, where we are providing CAPM exam prep courses for senior, so that's the last year in the US system of high school, for senior students who are not on the path to college, right? So basically we help them gain something, a certification, and a learning journey as well that helps them find internships and then potentially get jobs if they're not on the path to go to college. So I guess, you know, this is another very good example of how we can have a real impact. We have a pilot going on with 10 schools in New York. It's about 200 students right now, and the goal is to expand it to more than 500 high schools in New York City. So I'm really happy as a New Yorker and as the CEO of PMI, of course, with this initiative, and I'm sure we could, if it works, we could expand this to so many other cities and school systems. And then I didn't mention that, but we have the GAC for academic institutions, but we also have partnerships with them, right? And our market teams, so that's our regions and some of our central teams working with large corporations and governments are also including now academic institutions to develop more institutional relationship with them. And so we are seeing this as an area of, actually an under-tapped area of opportunity for us, PMI, that we want to work on in the future. And then we have PMIF, like I mentioned before. They focus more on the pre-university level, but they're expanding every year. They have more and more high school students who are exposed to project management thanks to what the PMIF is doing. So that's fantastic as well. The question on social impact, so we tried last year, I think we came to the realization with the board that there was a lot of energy, enthusiasm around social impact, but also a lot of dispersion. So we had all sorts of initiatives everywhere going. a little bit in all directions, which is normal when everybody is trying to do something without any real guidelines. And we also felt it was a little bit sad that we were not leveraging enough our specificity in project management to actually help those NGOs and the people who are in this world of social impact to scale. They're usually very good at raising money, but not so good at execution. And when I talk to CEOs of NGOs, they all have the same problems. They say we're spread so thin, everybody wants us to help. We have so many pressures coming from board members, from people who fund us to go in all directions. And the problem is we don't know, basically they don't understand, they don't know how to conceptualize this, but they have portfolio management problems, and then they have massive program and project management issues. So the idea was, let's try to channel all the energies we have in our community in social impact to help these NGOs being better at doing what they're doing. And so that's why we decided to include or welcome project managers without borders in our family. And this organization, which has a great name, but also a lot of experience with Diane, with Peter, and the people who had been involved in this for a long time, we thought this is a great opportunity for us to scale that and channel our social impact initiatives behind helping NGOs. And I mentioned, we have around 30 projects already underway or in development and many more to come. With all the chapters we have, potentially we could help hundreds or thousands of NGOs. And really, if we can do that, we can reach enough volume to create a movement around the use of project management by NGOs and increase massively the impact that they have on the world.
Thank you, Pierre. And our final and last question is to you, Brantlee. Over the past year, PMI emphasized the importance of membership value and its experiences. However, PMI chapters continue to face frequent leadership turnover and challenges in motivating members to step into leadership roles. What steps are PMI, or is PMI taking to redefine and strengthen the value of chapter leadership to build a pipeline of loyal, engaged leaders?
So turnover among chapter leaders, it's common, it's an expected challenge. It's something that you see in any volunteer-driven organization. And some of that turnover is healthy, right? It brings renewal, it prevents stagnation. But when it's excessive and constant and unplanned, it can be very disruptive. It can limit capacity, it stifles support. And sometimes people just don't really know what their role is. So we've been addressing this and continuously address it through the resources that we provide. But I'll talk about 3 areas. One is intentional design, second is volunteer support, and the third is organizational investment. So on the intentional design and governance, we provide toolkits and guides that have a volunteer governance framework that recommends including defined term limits for volunteers so we can have that healthy turnover. And that structure ensures that there's rotation, we're inviting fresh perspectives, that we are hopefully preventing burnout amongst our volunteers, and also avoids a power consolidation where sometimes people just don't want to leave the role. Leadership renewal is therefore built into our models by design. So the second part is understanding volunteer capacity. And we totally understand that volunteers have lives beyond PMI, and it's important to be able to balance professional and personal commitments. So naturally, volunteer capacity will fluctuate, especially depending what's going on in one's personal and professional life. So we provide a lot of tools, training, programs that help sustain engagement despite the constraints volunteers might be facing. Even in our own volunteer assignments that we provide at the global level on the VEP, you'll see the commitment ranges from a few hours to a few years. So the third piece is strengthening the PMI support and resources. So we have marketing portals and volunteer web pages. We continuously invest in strengthening both the experience and the pipeline of our chapter volunteers through the Leadership Institute program. That's our training development program for chapter leaders. We have orientation, we have leadership guides, continuous training both in person and virtually, succession planning resources, financial grants that also help get our volunteers to some of this training and networking like our Leadership Institute meetings and regional events. The Leadership Institute meeting, we just had one this week in the North America region, over 550 chapter leaders from the region. And that's where we really see the energy and the motivation of our volunteers. And the chapters will also use the LIM as a way to motivate their potential future volunteers and assess the energy that they bring home back into the organization for connection and purpose. We launched a webinar program through the Leadership Institute program last year, late in 2024, and this invites subject matter experts to share their knowledge on different topics like finance, strategy, communications, and much more. And then going forward into 2026, we're developing additional pathways that are including tracks for advanced volunteer leaders, as well as looking at smaller group cohorts as part of our chapter leader orientation. And lastly, we have a really significant project underway to modernize our technical community platforms, and that's to support Global Member Pass and the way that our members connect and share knowledge. So we look forward to engaging our community in the design and the implementation of those platforms.
Oh, thank you, Brantlee, for that. And then thank you both for your valuable insights. And let me just add that all the questions asked here today and what we've covered in the event today align well with our purpose to maximize project success and to elevate our world, and also with the 3 strategic pillars that Pierre mentioned of our PMI Next strategy. Because PMI Next continues to be our strategy and is designed to guide PMI, our organization, into the future as we progressively enhance value for our communities. So thank you again, Pierre and Brantlee, and also thank you to everyone who submitted thoughtful questions and input.
Thank you. See you later.
Before I forget, for those questions we didn't have time to cover today, we will continue to address them in our communication in our upcoming Board Perspectives columns. I would like to thank you all for being here. Whether you joined today virtually or are here in Phoenix, thank you for your participation and engagement. With respect to next year's annual membership meeting, this will be held on a day and time to be announced by the board. Now, with there being no new or old business to discuss, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.